Welcome to the desert of the real. Or Lyme Regis Beach, because today is the start of our new series on shooting in austere or difficult environments. And we're starting with, you guessed it, the sand or desert. So before we get going, please hit that subscribe button and smash that notification bell if you want to keep up to date with this series and any other videos that we have coming out soon. And now, let's roll that intro. As former British Army cameramen, we have served all over the world in many different and challenging environments like Jordan, Iraq and Afghanistan. Now we want to share our knowledge and experience of shooting in these hot and dusty, sandy climates with you so that you can keep yourself and your equipment safe whilst working and filming in these harsh conditions. So the first thing to consider when in the desert is that thing that is everywhere, and that is the sand, which can be coarse or fine. I've shot in places where the sand's been so fine, it's like talcum powder. Walking through it feels like you're walking through water. And as you can imagine, that gets everywhere. So consider lenses. Do you have to change your lens? Every time you take that lens off, there's going to be sand getting in there, crunching on those flanges. So if you've got a zoom that you can use throughout, bang that on beforehand. If not, try and change it as quick as possible in a sand-free environment. Also consider taping up vulnerable areas, like your memory card door. Do you need to change your memory card while shooting? If not, tape it up, because that's the last place that you want sand. And remember to try and keep your kit dry, because if it gets wet, sand's going to just love sticking to that.
So, first up, filters, and we're not talking Instagram, we're talking about the ones we put on the end of our lens. So firstly, UV filters. UV filters will protect the end of your lens. It's cheaper to replace the UV filter than it is to replace your lens. Also, polarizers. They will reduce reflection and also saturate the light. And lastly, we've also got neutral density or ND filters, which reduce the amount of light that comes through your camera. During my time in Afghan, I was in many scenarios where helicopters were landing and stones and loose debris were flying up. One time, a stone hit the end of my lens cap and broke the UV filter. So it was cheaper to replace that UV filter than that lens. So that saved me in that scenario.
So next up is cleaning. And one of the things that we always have in our bag is a blower bottle. This, perfect. A couple of squeezes here and there, perfect for pushing away dust and sand. Next, a brush. Like that one. Or this one that Gary stole from his bathroom this morning. Perfect for sweeping away dust off the back of screens. You don't want to be using your hands and fingers if you don't want to scratch it.
Also, when you're filming, think about where you've left your kit and make sure your bags are closed, because you don't want the ingress of sand into your kit and you don't want any unwelcome visitors.
Next, glasses. Remember, in the desert, it's going to be super bright. You want to protect your eyes. Get some nice wraparound glasses, protect yourself from the sun and from the sand getting whipped up. Remember, it's not a fashion show, you're there to work. And your eyes are the tools of your trade, so best protect them.
So we talked about camera equipment, but now we need to talk about ourselves. So first up, the hat. The hat is to protect your head from the sun and your eyes. Secondly, a neck scarf. What's this for? It also protects the back of your neck when you're leaning forward, but also collects all that sweat. We also need to talk about our clothing. Make sure you're wearing neutral colours. Obviously, if you're wearing black, it'll attract the sun. So make sure it's thin clothing as well to help you breathe. Next, consider knee pads. In some countries, there's going to be sharp, jagged rocks, not like the fine sand we got here. So you might need to protect your knees from getting cuts or chafed, just so you can get down and get that low shot. Also consider shoes. Make sure you've got high shoes to protect your ankles, or shoes that breathe as well. It depends how hot your feet can get, so make sure they're protected. So just remember, head, shoulders, knees and toes. Knees and toes. Head, shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes. Head, shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes.
Consider what time of day you're shooting too. Remember, midday it's going to be its hottest, so maybe consider an early morning or late afternoon shoot. Grab yourself some of that golden hour sunlight. Also, don't leave your kit in direct sunlight as it can damage it. Find yourself a nice shady nook to keep it all stashed away.
Also, make sure you stay hydrated. Sometimes a bottle like this might not be enough. Also, you want something that's going to be with you all the time, so you can keep sipping and drinking water. So something like this, a Camelback, might be perfect for you. And then also, maybe you can keep all your knickknacks in it.
Now, you're not going to be able to cover everything from the sun. So for those parts that are still exposed, use some high factor sun cream. Steal it from your kids if you have to. And remember, keep applying it throughout the day because you're going to be sweating a lot. You can also use Vaseline for those areas that chafe, if you know what I mean.
So you might be using a monitor, and there's a lot of monitors out there nowadays with a really high nit rating, which means you're going to get a lot more brightness with your monitor. But you might also want to consider a hood so you can visibly see the picture better. These are just some of the things you can consider. That list isn't exhaustive, and don't forget you need to remain adaptable to the conditions you're in. If you have any questions about anything, just drop it in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. See you in the next video.